Never before has the G20 summit been plagued by so many pulls and pressures as this one. The Russian President Vladimir Putin is not attending because of the Ukraine war. The Chinese President Xi Jinping is also not going to be present for obvious reasons, given the situation and relationship with India. So while the G20 presents several opportunities, there are many challenges that can play a dampener as well.
At the invitation of the Government of Republic of India, Premier of the State Council Li Qiang will attend the 18th G20 summit.
When China made it official that President Xi Jinping would not be going to the G20 summit. No mistaking the snub either. India's invite to Xi stands rejected just 2 weeks after he did attend the BRIC summit in South Africa. Xi and Modi met on the sidelines there. Even as efforts to resolve the border dispute remained foremost, there are visible frictions on stands on the future of that grouping. Weeks earlier, Modi had indirectly taken on both Pakistan and China on terror at the SCO meet. The India-China military standoff on the line of actual control is mirrored by growing political tensions and strained ties. The clashes at Galwan in 2020 that marked a turning point extend to a continuing face-off over a new Chinese map that shows Indian territory as part of China. While India is a prime beneficiary of efforts by Western companies including Apple Inc. to diversify its Chinese operations. Fact is, Beijing has no real interest in a successful G20 in India.
Chinese foreign policy generally fears about isolationism among the community of nations. That includes if President Putin had communicated on August 28 that he is not attending, then flowing from the Bali meeting of 2:18, that is Russia and China against the 18 other members of the G20, then it is quite possible if President Xi visits New Delhi, then he would have been isolated. This is the worst case scenario for China's foreign policy. That would be very hard for them to swallow.
There's also the distinct shadow of the Russia-Ukraine war. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov says he will block the summit's final declaration if it doesn't reflect Russia's stand on Ukraine, which again says the China-Russia combine on the one hand and the West on the other are likely to be the most important fault lines in defining the legacy of this G20.
As far as the world is concerned, there is a East-West divide, China and Russia against the United States and the West. There is also a North-South divide. The first one is as far as geopolitics is concerned, and the second, the North-South divide, is as far as the economic situation of the developed countries of the North versus the developing countries of the South. So there are these challenges that confront the G20 at the moment. I don't think at any other time before this has the G20 faced such challenges.
At least on the face of it, challenges show on the economy front too. The UK-India Free Trade Agreement seems to be in jeopardy.
Sunak hopes to bring about closer ties between the UK and India under his leadership. And he's expected to use the G20 summit to stress to Prime Minister Modi the importance of getting a comprehensive free trade agreement over the line. There had been hopes it would be signed in time for the summit, but a deal has yet to materialize.
Canada's Justin Trudeau too has announced a pause on trade talks with India. In this backdrop, a question mark has even arisen on the possibility of a joint statement.
We have, of course, seen the Russian foreign minister who will be representing his country he has drawn some red lines, but then I think it will be in the interest of all countries that we have a clean text, the final text, so that all the decisions that are taken on the issues of development and growth, that those decisions can be implemented by the various countries, not only the G20 members who are here, but also those who are outside the negotiating rooms, like the World Bank, like the Bretton Woods institutions, and other agencies of the United Nations who are going to be present here. So to put it succinctly, I am hopeful that we will come to a consensus joint declaration.
There can be no denying the opportunities the G20 summit in New Delhi holds for India as a leading voice on the global stage, as the voice of the global south, as an important powerhouse that holds a strong say on the future of the global economy. But there's also no denying that in an increasingly polarized world, the challenges stare hard.